Thanks, Benny. Hi, everyone. My name is Lior. I'm the FA or PO or inbound product manager, however you want to call it. I joined the company and StormRunner Load almost 1 year ago. And since then, I have been really enjoying working in my team and with this amazing product, which is actually very, very young. So I would like to know, first of all, I know that you have been here for a long time and hearing a lot of people talking, and I would like to know, like, your support, right? And you're coming from different parts of the world, and you work mainly with LoadRunner and PC?
Yes.
Okay.
And UFT.
Okay. So StormRunner Load is not that common among you.
It's known, but it's not as well.
For me, in SAP, I'm on site at SAP who resell our software, and they've just signed up to resell our SaaS solutions. But the SAP guys develop, I work with the global partner support team, and they've developed their support interface, web-based interface for for all their partners, and they used StormRunner Load to load test.
Nice.
Okay.
Right.
But we're also now reselling their our SAP are reselling our SaaS.
Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. No, wait. I brought mine.
I think it's mine, but I can just let you know.
Okay, just you can take it and then we can check. I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Musíme se pole malo.
yeah, SAP are reselling
Right. Yeah.
SaaS. So we onboarded the first customer for ALM last week.
Nice.
So we're hoping.
Yeah, nice. So we will have the chance to talk about that a little bit also. So it's nice to hear. Okay, so we have 1 hour approximately. So I would like to go over the product, talk about it a little bit, do a small demo, about 15 minutes, and then finalize with our roadmap, sharing what's our plan for the future. So that's actually can be relevant for you guys to know where are we planning to go. Okay, so if you are very familiar with the LoadRunner and PC, great and big products that exist for a long time. So StormRunner Load exists approximately for 5 years, and this is a cloud-based testing solution that actually brings all the cloud capabilities to the market, and that's our main focus, to leverage all the cloud capabilities as the flexibility, the scalability, and the affordability also of the cloud. So one of the important things when people think about load testing is buying machines and maintaining the hardware. So that's one of the biggest limitations also. Maybe not that for the enterprises companies, like for big and huge organizations, but for agile teams or more smaller companies, one of the biggest limitations is the fact that you need to buy machines and to have strong hardware in order to create real load. So SRL comes to bring a solution in that area, with the fact that the only thing that you need actually is to have internet and to have a browser, and that's all. Of course, a script, but that's all. Everything happens in the cloud, so there's no need to buy and maintain hardware machines. So thinking about SRL, when the product was designed, these 3 words are mainly the slogan and the motivation that actually we have until today when we think about improving our existing capabilities. So as I said, we're a cloud-based performance testing solution, and as you probably know, the renaming of LoadRunner and PC also will affect StormRunner Load. So we will have a StormRunner Load change to LoadRunner Cloud, exactly the same product, but we belong to the same family of LoadRunner, and that's why that's something that needs to be apparently exploded and take advantage of that. So again, these 3 words, and I would like to explain the 3 of them. So simple, why? Because as I said, in order to have a test running, in order to create load on your application, you need very few things. So you can have just your script, probably the writing of the script, it's going to be the most time-consuming task. But once you have your script ready, so just upload it to SRL, do the test configuration in the UI, and within a couple of minutes, you will have your test already running. Load generators will be raised in different locations around the world based on the cloud vendors that we have agreements with. And you will start getting data right away after 10 minutes or even less. We have actually a new dashboard. We have improved our analytics capabilities. So now within a couple of minutes, you start getting data once the tests are running. So you get your analytics during the run. And that's actually a huge thing because it makes all the root cause analysis easier and more available. And the last thing, of course, is scalability. We need to take advantage of the scalability of the cloud, so we're not very limited by this. And we provide to our users, to our customers, to run tests with a huge load, up to 5 million concurrent virtual users. So actually, between our customers, there is no test that was run with this number of users. I think that one of the most bigger tests, it's around 100,000 virtual users. But by supporting this huge amount of load, we're telling to our users that we're not limiting them with the quantity of load that they want to create. So that's our motivation for the product, and we invest in all these different areas. And we will talk about that in a few minutes. So if you have questions during, so please ask. So how does it work? So first of all, let's talk about some names here. I'm sure you are familiar with all these protocols here. We come from the LoadRunner family, so that's why Vusion protocols are supported, Vusion scripts. We support the protocols as TrueClient, the new protocol TrueWeb, which is it's actually very aligned to our vision, trying to provide with a solution to a market which is shifting left. And sometimes, I would say, like from our experience, a big number of customers are moving into this methodology in which everything starts to happen in development. The testing are being done actually by the developers themselves. So giving a solution which can be very triggered very fast and generate a load and give real-time analytics and insights very quickly and with a very small amount of efforts, it comes to bring a lot of good stuff to the market. So, yeah.
It says it supports Jenkins. I don't know what that means.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. We have integration with different CI and CD tools. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So yeah, in addition to the Vusion scripts, we support also protocols as JMeter and Gatling. So open source is another important area in which we invest efforts. Selenium, UFT Pro, and additional protocols, of course. Okay, so by supporting a big portfolio of protocols, and not only that, but we invest time and efforts also in supporting CI and CD tools. So you can see here a few names. It's Jenkins, Bamboo, TFS VSTS, which is now Azure DevOps, and of course integration with the Octane and Git. So the DevOps area is actually very relevant in our plans, and that's actually a zone in which we invest. So SRL tests can be run not only in the UI, but can be triggered within the DevOps lifecycle through the different CI/CD tools. And also the data can be just received directly, and reports can be downloaded as a result of the Jenkins run. I hope that later on will be clear, so once we move on. So support also for the Git. We have integration with Git, so all the scripts can be managed in Git, and we just pull the scripts directly from them. So once I have my test configured and my scripts have been pulled from Git, or I just uploaded into the UI. So I can just click on run my test. So I will show you that. And from that moment, everything happens in the cloud. So load generators are raised in different regions around the world based on the cloud vendor that you choose. So actual physical machines are raised in those different regions. And those load generators raise users that will start to hit the AOT from the different regions. But we have a case, well, actually a big amount of our customers come from LoadRunner and from PC. We have that migration, or customers that use both, also PC or LoadRunner and also StormRunner load. And we have a lot of situations in which the AOT is behind the firewall and they cannot expose it to the cloud. So for that, we also have a few solutions. So we support on-premise load generators as well. So within your test configuration, you can decide if you want to run the cloud load generators or on-premise load generators. They can be just configured in your test. But if you want to use the cloud load generators, so we have a few solutions, as for example, the IP whitelisting. So we can provide dedicated IPs for the inbound communication between the cloud load generators and the application which is behind the firewall. So the customer in that case, the only thing that needs to do is to whitelist those particular IPs. So the communication goes straight. That's one thing. And the dedicated VPC, which is also a solution that it was actually requested from one of our customers. Benny, do you remember which customer actually requested the VPC, the dedicated VPC? Who is that?
ADP, New Jersey-based customer.
Great. Okay, yeah, so we have different solutions for that use cases. So the dedicated VPC also comes to bring this secure connection between the sites. And in addition, the network emulation, which comes to bring a better approximation to a real world scenario. So we have support for network emulation within the application. Okay, besides that, when the test is already running, just to mention a couple of monitors that we have integration with. So data can be, actually those protocols that we're currently supporting, as Sidescope of course, but also New Relic, Dynatrace, and AppDynamics. So we release a new version every 2 months. So we give a lot of importance to the communication with customers, and the addition of integration with the new protocols, that's something that usually comes from communication with customers. Some particular customer used to work with one particular monitor, and then we can do this new integration with the monitor they need. So, of course, that's not the case always. We have a huge backlog, which limits us from delivering everything, but that's an effort that we do too. So you can use this monitor that you work with and get additional data into the dashboard, so you can correlate between the data of your test and the data coming from your monitor tools. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so let's move on. So this is just to give a graphical representation of our openness, and that we're willing always to be flexible and integrate with the different external tools. So here you can see a few logos. So let's move to the demo. So you will be able to see actually our product. We will go through the basic flow. So as you can see here. Okay, so this is our UI. This is SRL. You are now in the homepage.
You logged in.
What?
You are already logged in.
Yeah. Yes. I'm logged in. I'm in the homepage currently. So what we can see here is a test that I'm currently running. Quick start, the last runs recently worked on, so I see here different tests as well. And on the bottom, I have the what's new of every version and the get tools. So we talked about this at the beginning, the option to get different tools from the application itself. So here we have Get Vugen, as you can see. It's a little bit smaller for you. You can read the screen?
I
Or?
don't know if the camera can see it.
Okay. Okay, tell me if I need to zoom in. Watch tutorials, get help. So that's our homepage. So I will move on. I will create a test by clicking on this button, and I will give just a name to my test. I can give a description. Then here we have the general tab, so we have several configurations for my test. We're not going to talk about each one of them because we don't have much time. But here I can define the license mode in which I want to run my test. So it can be virtual users or virtual users per hour, a license existing in SRL. Or we can define that we want to have a mixed, a hybrid run with both type of licenses. The run mode, so this is something that we started to support in the last 2 versions. For a long time, tests could be run only in the duration mode in SRL for a long time. And 2 versions ago, we supported the iterations mode, which is run until complete in LoadRunner. I'm sure you are familiar with it. And in our last version, we added support for goal-oriented scenario, which is something that also comes from LoadRunner. So again, we give a part of our backlog to these customers that sometimes come to us and say, hey, I'm missing some capability that I had in LoadRunner, but I don't have that in SRL, and I really need that. So each case, of course, we consider, and for a long time, we run only with the duration mode, and this is a huge advantage that we made by supporting these additional run modes. So everything you define here, all the general configuration of the test, the capability to add vusers. So if I define that I want to run, for example, 1,000 vusers, then I can, during the test, I can decide to add additional vusers. Yeah, that's actually good because we're racing machines. So we're racing machines based on several parameters as the protocol. For an HTTP protocol, I will be able to run up to, for example, 2,000, 2,500 users per machine. And for a GUI protocol, the number will be much low. So we are racing the machines based on the number of users and based on the script that they are using. So this option gives us the capability to define an extra number of users in case the user wants to increase the load during the run.
Or if some of them end early, if some of the users die,
right?
Then you want to replace them.
Yes, yeah. That's another feature related, and we're working on currently to be released in the near future, is the capability to stop the scheduler. So that's also a capability existing in LoadRunner, and we were asked to implement it also in SRL. So that's another option actually to control your load during the run. If I want to stop the scheduler and continue with the same load until I decide to change it. So yeah, that's another thing that will be added in the future too. So we're not we don't want to be a product that copies all the capabilities of LoadRunner and put it into our product, and the only thing that we say is we're cloud. That's not what we want. We want to be to bring new things and new solutions to the market, but we cannot ignore the fact that actually LoadRunner is the base in which we're based, and we need to utilize all the resources coming from there too.
Do you support the goal-oriented here?
Yeah, now we're supporting goal-oriented since the last version that was released. Yeah.
And with type hits, transactions?
Again?
The user transactions per second, hits per second?
Yeah, we're supporting now transactions per second and hits per second. There are other 2 options, I think.
Users?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing. Yeah. So we're supporting currently 2. Yeah. So okay. So we can move on. So I have here additional information, additional options that I can just choose. We'll move to the script section. So here I will upload my script, or I can just take a script from the assets. So in this case, I will take this web HTTP script and use it.
Peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful app web. That's the name chosen. Okay, so here I will define the number of the users to run that specific script. I will define my ramp up, for example, for 2 minutes, a duration of 1 hour, and a tear down of 2 minutes. I have additional scheduling configuration for my test for the way in which I want my users to behave during the run. So if I want to set a manual or more advanced configuration, that's something that is also possible. So for this example, we're just going to run with this. Another thing under location, as you can see, you can run each script in a different machine. So you can choose to run on cloud or on premise. And after I uploaded or added the scripts that I want to run, I can just add a connection with a monitor. On the distribution tab, so this is one of my favorite things actually. Here we can just play with the locations. So for this example, the default location is Virginia, but I want to raise my view users from additional locations. So for example, I will choose to run also from London and from Hong Kong. So as you can see, we have these 2 different cloud vendors. So I can just add them. And then I will distribute the load. So I want a particular number of users running here. I want to run, for example, 70% in London, 15% in Virginia, and in Hong Kong as well. And then the other thing, the network emulation. Here I will define not only where my users will be raised and from where they will be attacking the AOT, but also what is going to be the network that we'll be using. So I can define here the Wi-Fi or one good or typical connection, or just a typical 3G connection, for example. So all of these are customizable based on the customer needs. As you can see also on the top, we have the on-premise, in case I want to run my test in on-premise machines, and also the private cloud as an additional option. As you can see, everything is pretty straightforward. I know that you're probably familiar with all the UI of LoadRunner. So this is actually pretty similar to PC, but even simpler. But yeah, if you look at that, that's maybe reminds it very much. And here in SLA, I will define my success criteria for the test. So currently, we're supporting only the transaction response time in this case. So I will define my percentile here per second. So if I run my first test with a particular number, then I will get from the system a recommendation based on the data obtained from the first run, what should be the parameter that I need to define here. Okay, so currently we're supporting this kind of SLA. We plan in the future to support additional success or fail criteria, to support additional SLAs. So for example, if I want to fail my test based on number of errors, to give an example, that's something that we also plan to add in the future. So we have actually competitors that are using that. We have BlazeMeter. They actually have a system of defining an SLA which is very, very strong. And we're now feeling that that need of investing in this particular configuration of the test. Okay. Yeah. Then we have single user performance configuration and additional stuff, but we're good to go. So I can see here on the top that I'm running in duration mode with one script, the number of users, and the total duration of the test. And just I click run test if it wants to work.
How many generators does that mean? Does that just use one? Or?
So in that case, I use web HTTP, and for 500, so I will have only one machine being raised. Yeah.
But when it's more, do we control it at all? How many you're going to use? Or?
So that's automatically calculated based on the parameters of the configuration of the test. But this is completely transparent. I mean, the customer does not have any information about the number of machines being raised or what are their size or their capacities. So we want to just disconnect completely the user from the responsibility of handling the machines.
We charge for service as opposed to the machines, right?
Again?
We charge for the service as opposed to the
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we charge per licenses, and the licenses do that specific calculation. But yeah,
Duration of-
we actually have that in our backlog, and yeah, it's very high. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have that necessity. Yeah.
because that will
Well,
be the true
that's-
on-demand solution.
That's actually a serious thing because you can think about the protocol itself, but you can't really know what is within this black box of the script. So yeah, that can be a solution. Yeah, since all the management of the machines are in our side and we're telling to the customers, hey, don't think about it, we are taking care of that. So sometimes, as you can see, we have LG alerts here in the UI. So in case LG alerts are happening, so we're communicating that to customers. So we have that conflict of customers saying, hey, but you're responsible for this. I shouldn't have been seeing LG alerts. So we have that thing that we're managing. It's not that common, it's for particular cases. So what we're currently doing, as Benny said, just putting the default number of users very low for particular protocols, and that's the workaround that we have been using until today. But definitely, it's something that we're looking into. Yeah. So okay, let's move on with this. So this is the new dashboard. What you're seeing here. What you're going to see now is the old dashboard. This is currently actually the default dashboard when you open the application. We have been running with this dashboard for a long time. The metrics are here, and once you select a metric, it's added as a new pane. And for approximately 1.5 years, the team has been working on the implementation of this new dashboard. Currently, we're in beta, but we're very, very close to finish all the gaps that we had with the previous version. This actually is really great. We improved the way in which the data is shown. All the data manipulation is much easier. So the way in which I just work with the tree, I can add, for example, just to show you additional tabs. In this case, I added a new tab. So the layout is much more comfortable.
Is there any overlap between teams so that you can take advantage of things that might be
From different teams, you say?
in PC versus, I'm sorry, LRE?
You're saying like taking scripts from
No, not
PC?
scripts, but I mean like the user interface, the way it's displayed, because they changed some things in the display. Are you guys able to take advantage of each other?
We are able to take advantage, but actually each product designs itself in a different way, separated teams. Yeah, so everything happens like in implementation of the UI and the way the things look. We are not like working with one language. Okay, so just to show you quickly, as you can see here in the tree, I selected transactions. Okay, then I went to total transactions per second, and what I see here is one script, and then I see my other script. So within each one of them, I will see the transactions, and then I will see the dimensions that I selected. So in this case, I'm seeing one particular transaction. Okay, and as you can see on the bottom, I see London and Virginia, and then the different network emulation. So I can just take very particular data coming from one particular location with one particular network emulation, and just I can get a line for each one of them to compare them as I want. So here we just need to change the log scale. Okay. So this test is currently running. We added this legend on the bottom. We are still working on this, improving this layout. and closing a few gaps that we have with the capabilities that are given in the old dashboard. Okay, so just to show you more things, so here I have the time frame, which I can just move if I want to see the data of the beginning of the test, or I just want to do a focus in one particular point of the duration of my test. So I will see everything zoomed in. Split graphs, close, add different panes. I can just use the whole screen by hiding the tree. Within other capabilities, here we are able, I will show you just this run, which is finished. This is the report. After the test finishes, the report is generated. This is the way it looks. We have here the summary of the report, and then I can just go and add additional sections. So this report is also sent by email in a PDF to the email addresses that were defined in the configuration of the test. And another thing is the export of raw data CSVs. So raw data is actually the bread and butter of the performance engineering. So those guys are used to work with raw data, and when you work in the cloud and you're working with this huge amount of data, you cannot show during the run in the browser all the data coming from these specific measurements, but it's possible by doing aggregation of data. So we have added the option to export raw data and not only see aggregated data from the run. That was something that also customers coming from PC and LoadRunner were used to get. So now it's possible to download several different reports as the transactions to CSV, which provides separated data and not aggregated data for the transactions themselves. So we have just a couple of minutes. I just want to share with you a few things that we have for the future. I will jump the highlights of the last releases. Okay. Okay, so our roadmap, we focus on these 4 areas: cloud, DevOps, performance engineering, and analytics. So what you see here in the gray cubes in the gray squares are the long-term features that we have in our plans. So let's take just a quick look at this. So under cloud, we aim to reduce the initialization time of a test. We have achieved this very well, actually. A long time ago, or not that long actually, a few months ago, to run a test in StormRunner load took 10 minutes or 15 minutes even just to, since the moment the user clicked on run test until the moment that the dashboard is open and data is given in the dashboard. So that was something that we knew that we need to fix, and we reach a point in which a big amount of our tests are just raised within 1, 2, or 3, or 4, and 5 minutes. Like we reduced our average time of initialization of tests significantly, but we know that we need to still work on that and to continue improving that. So one of the nice things about that is that we got feedbacks from customers without us asking them. So they came in our conversations and they say, hey, we saw that the test that used to take 10 minutes to raise, now it happened in 3 minutes. What happened? So without having us to ask, we got these nice feedbacks, which is great. Additional regions, not only additional regions, but also additional cloud vendors as a Google Cloud. Currently, we support approximately 20 regions around the world, so we aim to continue adding additional regions. Under cloud, we have also the zero-time downtime updates. So currently, we release a new version every 2 months, and we have a downtime every time we release a new version. So this is something that we aim also to have completely zero downtime and make everything completely transparent for customers. That is something that we're working on too. It's a couple of hours. It happens every 2 months approximately on Sundays. So it doesn't affect really much our customers. But anyways, that's something that not only the releases, but also if you have the need to, you know, right, if we have the need
Well,
to,
but you guys start on Sundays.
what?
You guys are working on Sunday, isn't it?
We're working, but the world is not working on Sundays. Yeah, that's the point.
You planify a test for this Sunday. I guess you are advised maybe months ago that this Sunday don't test anything.
So we have a notification for our customers. Yeah.
So where does the Jenkins exist that it communicates with? Box.
The box of what do you mean?
Okay, so you have an add-in, you have a plugin for Jenkins. right?
Yeah, we have a plugin for Jenkins to install. So yeah, so tests can be automatically triggered from.
That allows them to have their own Jenkins to initiate things, or what? Where it's a plugin, and then how does that work?
Yeah, so they configure and they plan their runs within Jenkins, within the Jenkins job to be triggered in a particular time. Yeah, so that's automatically and part of the cycle of each of each.
And you control that.
Yeah,
So we
It's-
offer plugin, so customers are usually hosting their own Jenkins instance.
Okay, that's what I was
in their
wondering.
own in their own environment, and the ecosystem for Jenkins is very popular. So most of the vendors are actually creating plugins, and they have a marketplace for that.
Right.
So you can grab the plugin that you need and configure that to work against StormRunner load instance. And once you will use this job, it will trigger a test inside Storm and will fetch the result back to Jenkins. So for that purpose, you don't need even to log in into Storm in order to get the results. So you can create a load testing as part of the pipeline. So
Right.
this is the story that we are usually telling to our customers.
Yeah.
It's very recommended that you will actually link StormRunner load as part of your development pipeline.
Pipeline, right.
We are
Okay.
providing Jenkins, and we are providing some more like Azure DevOps, which become very, very popular now. But we have a Bamboo plugin as well, so it's very.
Team
become-
as well? Team?
Yeah, TFS is part of that, yeah. And
Yeah.
for those that we do have requests for like very niche player, and we have a very advanced public API, such API that you can use. Instead,
They
in
can write
case
something
we
themselves.
didn't cover the specific instance, you can still use our public API for that.
Okay. And where is that? Is that on ADM
In the help center,
Help Center?
you have like a swagger that you can see all the public API and documentation for all those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so actually DevOps it takes a full column here because we invest on that, and Jenkins and Git and Azure DevOps. In the current version, we're working on very good enhancements for Azure DevOps. And as Benny said, our public API also we get constantly requests from customers asking for new capabilities. So we try to extend our public API capabilities constantly. A few other things: App Dynamics on-prem, Microsoft App Insights, additional integrations with additional tools, as monitors and CI/CD tools. Under PE, we have the renaming happening now in December 15. Now we're going to be called LoadRunner Cloud. That's going to be the logo. As you see, it's LoadRunner with the cloud there. Capability of pausing the scheduling. As I said at the beginning, we're implementing this now in the next release. Options to exclude the think time, for example, also coming from tools as LoadRunner. Vuegen integration, 1LG. This is an additional, actually this is a very huge project shared not only for LoadRunner or PC or our product itself, but as a shared effort to make the update and the installation process of the on-premise load generators easier.
Takes time, or all the process takes time?
Yeah. Mainly the updates of the on-premise load generators. We have customers using 40 machines, and all the process of installing and all the process of updating the machines is a pain point for them. Yeah, that's that's a shared effort of PE to improve that experience. So 1LG is a project that would be.
What about this script validation? I mean, I create a script, local is working fine. I just upload to the cloud, and for whatever reasons, it's failing. Just start to run, doesn't connect or whatever. You stop it. The test is charged for the customer, or is like.
So it depends on the.
It's a fake test.
It depends on the license, actually.
We do have like what we call auto refund
Okay.
functionality. So in case the test was failed due to a system error, a specific issues that we identified as our infrastructure issue, we automatically refund the customer. But if customer for some reason created a script that is not valid, I don't know, hits like a standard that does not exist, we're still charging them for that. So this is something that the customer needs to be aware of that.
Okay.
You will get, of course, script error, you will get a notification inside the dashboard, but we will charge him for the execution.
And there is no any way that maybe one user can test it in the cloud before to reload test.
That's exactly what we have talked about,
Okay, fine.
like the debug feature.
This the script validation sandbox that we have here. Yeah.
Do you charge differently for cloud or on-premise or private cloud?
So no, Benny, you can fix me.
The price is fixed, but sales guys are actually doing some more discount in case the customer is mainly on on-premise LG or is buying or purchasing on-premise LG. So they are giving them a lot of discount in that case. But usually the prices are fixed. You have like a price for a bundle and a price for either a VU or VUH.
So I don't know if I should ask here. I have a customer who has set up PCs, an entire setup, but LG will be on the customer side.
Okay.
So they have the setup in their company, but for LG, they are waiting for their customer to set it up. So which is better? LoadRunner, StormRunner load is better, or they can use the same setup that I said now?
Well, we do have slight differences between the load generator that we have for LoadRunner and PC today and the one that we are using for Storm, but we are going to kind of generalize it and make what we call 1LG that will be able to serve all. So at the moment, they will not be able to leverage those injectors. I guess that a year from now, we will come up with a unified solution. So you install one load generator and you can actually utilize it among all the performance tools.
Okay, so here we have a limitation in StormRunner load.
Yes. Yes.
What was that script validation sandbox? We just
So
verified the script?
it's what we're talking about. To give the option before the test is actually run and the licenses of the customer are used. So give an option to actually test the script before it is run. Not only for the calculation of the load of the test and the calculation of the number of licenses or the machines that need to be used, but also to check the script itself before it's run with the real licenses. Yeah. Okay, and just to finish, under analytics, as you saw, we have the new dashboard, which is planned to be the default dashboard within a few months from now. We will add a transaction summary table, which is a request that we have been getting from several customers to get it in real time and not only the report. To add templates to configure the tests and templates for the report. That's also another requirement that we're looking into. So all the things that you are seeing here on the top will probably be released during the next year, during 2020. And summary table here and under analytics. So that's the main idea is to have an easy way that just by one click you can access to a summary of all the transactions in your test, because currently we are not providing a comfortable way to see all the data of the transactions in a table format.
Offline, I mean, that's after the test.
No, that's during the test. Yeah, after the test offline, we have it in the report, but this needs to be generated during the run.
Does that include app dynamics and Dynatrace?
It's actually all the data generated from the test during the run also from the monitors and also from the data obtained by the,
Being pulled in.
yeah.
So, in that case, do we support third-party tools to
Yeah, that's-
present, because we can dump the raw results, right? So we can use third-party tools to present the data?
To stream the data to third-party tools. So we have
Like,
currently support for Splunk, for errors, for
LoadRunner?
logs. Yeah, so just to finish, we have here the stream raw data, which actually comes to solve that issue. That's in the long term. So we have been working on this raw data project for a long time, delivering several features in this context, but given the option to actually stream the raw data to a third party, it's definitely part of our plans for the future. And to finish the trends report, we do want to emphasize our capabilities of analytics, and we want to be different from our competitors because of these analytics capabilities. So the trends reports currently is not that significant, it's not that useful. It's a little bit sad to say that, but it's reality, and we're working on that specifically to make the trends report, which is separated from the dashboard, and it's separated from the reports that can be downloaded after the run. But the option to compare several runs across the time, like to take one particular test, and if I've been running different runs for a long time, we want to give an option, and a comfortable option to see trends and to get insights from the data that's been obtained, and provide with that data and insights in a better way to our customers. So that's an important point, and we hope that in the next year we are going to be able to deliver a better trends capability in SRL. So that will be all. If you have additional questions.
Just a matter of interest, what's the longest test you've seen a customer run?
So we have Ericsson.
Still running.
We have, yeah, 5 years ago they started. We have Ericsson. They run a very long test of up to 72 hours. Yeah, that's the longest test that we have. And they challenge us a lot with that, because running 72 hours, they're huge tests.
And does it keel over? I mean, you must be losing load generators and stuff like that.
So yeah,
Network issues, blah, blah, blah.
and yeah, and we have some challenges there. Also with the usage of the UI, sometimes even the UI is being challenged. So yeah, we're handling that, but that's a good thing, because when you have a situation like that in which the customer is challenging you with their use case, so you have no other option but to implement what's needed. Yeah.